The stainless steel fender trim in chrome is a good choice for your 2014 or newer Silverado if you're looking for an attractive, shiny trim to add a nice detail to the sides of your truck. These act as a styling piece that provide some protection around the edges of your fenders in the wheel well base, and they do so for just about $100 for the set of 4. The installation is simple enough for anyone to do, so expect 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Grabbing a nice custom look for your truck doesn't have to be hard, and more importantly, it doesn't have to be expensive. The small things can really make a huge difference, even if you don't expect the outcome to be extremely impactful. These fender trim accents go great with other chrome accents on your Silverado, like the front grille and the rear bumpers, and they fit perfectly around your factory lip on the wheel wells. They're made from 22 AWG 100% stainless steel to keep them durable and reliable on your truck, and chrome-plated steel has a mirror-like shine that is super noticeable. They're 3/4 lengths in the front and a full length in the back for a slightly staggered look, and they add that small amount of protection to your factory paint with just over 1.5 inches of width. This way, any rocks kicking up won't hit the paint first in that area, they'll bounce right off of the trim. They're backed with a proprietary polymer to help it last the full life cycle of your truck. You can pick up a set for yourself for just about $120, which is super affordable in my opinion for the entire complete set of 4. It definitely beats any paint correction prices, and it's super easy to change things up. Speaking of super easy, the installation is seriously a no-brainer. It'll take you about 30 minutes to hit all 4 corners of the truck, so I'm giving it 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. You need a pair of pliers and a Phillips head screwdriver, which is optional to get the job done. Now, we pulled in our own Silverado into the shop to get these installed, so let's head over to the shop to see how it's done. Installing the Putco fender trim is going to be very, very simple. There's 2 installation methods for you to choose from, one permanent and one not permanent. The not permanent method is going to involve these bent clips here. One's going to have a bent end, and the other one has this circle on it to go over your fender well screws. The permanent method is going to involve actual screws where you'll actually drill into the inside of your fender well here. We're not going to do that permanent method, so let's go ahead with these push clips. We're going to start here on the passenger side front, and we'll show you the passenger side rear, and then the opposite side to the same way. So let's get right to it. All right, so the first step on the install is we're going to take our passenger side front fender trim. These are very much side specific, so you want to check the label on the inside. It will specify which one goes where. We're going to hold it up into place here, and we're going to start on the front side toward the front of our vehicle on the passenger side. So the lip here on the inside of the fender is pretty big, so we're going to use the type of clip that has that bent end. That bent end is going to go right around the inside of this and feed through the hole on our fender trim. So what we want to start off doing is actually feeding it through the hole to begin with. Feed that through the hole just about the middle, and then place your fender trim into place here on the edge. You want to make sure it lines up with the end here. That'll give you a perfect fitment. Now pull the fender trim clip all the way back so it hugs the inside of that fender, and with your hand you can just hold it into place and bend it all the way back. That should hold it into place for the rest of the install. Now, as you can see, you have this tab here that's pretty long going into your fender well. You have the option to snip that off. Now, that's not going to be in your instructions from Putco, but if you don't like the look of that, you can always just snip it off, take a pair of pliers, and push it in flush. We're going to move on to the next clip here, which is going to be a little different. Our next clip isn't going to have that bent end, but it has this open circle here. For the rest of the clips, we're just going to place that on the inside of our wheel well screws. We'll take those out, put this in place, and replace them, and it's going to be as simple as that. So let's get to it. So for our next type of tab, since we are removing the screws in the wheel well, we're going to use the circular tabs, and we're also going to use a ratchet and a T15 Torx bit. I'm going to use an extension just to make it a little easier here in the wheel well. So you're going to go up 1 screw, skip over to the next one because that's where the slot is in the fender trim. So we're going to remove that screw in the wheel well. With that removed, what we're going to do next is kind of prop that trim off of the fender. I'm going to pull it back just a little bit, just enough to feed this tab through that slot. When it goes back in, we can take our screw we just removed and feed it through the hole in the tab, and then right back into place. From there, we can take our ratchet and tighten that back up. All right, with that screw tightened back up, we can go back to this tab, and just like before, push in. You can use your fingers if you can. All right, so once you have that pushed in far enough, since there isn't that big of a tab, it can get a little tricky. I'm gonna take the back of a screwdriver and just push that flat. Now that that's bent all the way back, again, you can just move on to the next clip, and they're all gonna be the same as that one. All right, our next one's gonna be just above, right off the top center of the wheel. Same process, remove that screw in the wheel well. Peel off that fender trim just a bit, tilt it down so you can feed that clip through the slot. Once you have that fed through the slot, you can pull it back just a little bit to line up with where your wheel well screw is going to line up. Stick that through the hole, tighten it back down. There, bend that clip back with your hands. Make sure you get that fender trim nice and tight against the fender. Take your screwdriver, just flatten it out. The next clip is going to be going right off center to the left here. Again, remove the wheel well screws. Take your tab, feed it through that slot. All right, with the clip through the slot, you can line that up with your fender well screw. All right, and again with your hand, bend back that tab. Next clip, same thing. You're gonna feed that through the slot in the fender trim here. Pull it back just enough to reach that clip. Take a screwdriver, remove that screw. Feed it through the hole of your bent clip from Carrick's. Tighten that back down. Get our fender trim in place here. Bend back that excess tab. All right, last step, once you have that bent over, use a flathead screwdriver or the butt of a screwdriver and just flatten up that push tab. All right, from there you can start unscrewing the next one. Same process, push tab's gonna feed through this open slot here. Line it up with your wheel well screw. Put that back in place, tighten it down as much as you can. Get your fender trim nice and tight against the fender. Bend back that tab. For the final screw, it's all the way down here. It's gonna be the last one in your wheel well. You wanna just loosen that up and get that removed so you can put in those push clips. It might be easier for some of you guys if you turn the wheel all the way just to give you a little bit more room. I got just enough to work with here that I can loosen this up. Pull your fender trim back just enough and get it on an angle. Feed your clip through there. Put your screw nut back right into place there. Tighten it down by hand. Once you have that bent in properly, you can adjust where you want your fender trim to be. Bend in that last tab. Again, you might want to take a screwdriver just to flatten it out as much as you can. Take your ratchet, go back through all the screws. Just make sure they're tightened up as tight as they can go. Once you get all your screws in the wheel well tightened up, and you feel like your fender trim's on there pretty good, which it is, it's nice and tight, you can start moving on to the next one. Now we're on the passenger side front, we're gonna do our passenger side rear, and then of course, it's gonna be the same thing for the other side. So for the rear end, it's actually gonna be a lot easier than the front since you're not working with any screws or clips for the wheel wells. So this lip for the fender actually goes all the way around. So you can use this bent end type of push clip that Carrix includes for you in the kit. So again, this is just gonna hook around the edge here and fold back through the slots in the fender trim. So you wanna line it up and just see exactly where you wanna put your first clip. On the side that's closest to the front of your vehicle, the clip is gonna go right in here and through that slot on the fender trim. So you're gonna pull the fender trim off the truck, slide your clip through this slot here, and then put it on your vehicle. So once it's on, get it lined up into place here, right around your fender. Pull the clip in tight against the inside of the lip. Once it's as tight as you can go and the fender trim is pushed up against the truck, fold that tab back in. Now it's loose right now, but once we start getting in the other clips, you'll be able to come back and get that nice and tight. So for the next one up, since it's holding itself in a little bit more, you just want to bend it back, slide the clip on through, get it nice and flush against the fender so there's no gaps, and pull the clip to hug the inside lip. Once you have that hugged, you can use your hand, press against this, fold that clip back as tight as you possibly can, and you're good to move on to the next one. At this point, it'll be holding itself in place pretty good here. Once you have two clips into place here and the fender trim's holding itself into place, you can notice that this kind of elongates past the end of the fender trim. You can actually just bend that in so it's not as evident here, and that'll actually kind of reinforce it just a little bit more. You can do that to both clips you have down here. All right, and then from there, you can move on to the third one up toward the top. All right, the next one's gonna be the exact same process. Peel the fender trim off the vehicle, slide it into your slot, hug the bend to the inside of the wheel well, pull it in as tight as you can, and bend it back by hand, and then fold the end of the clip into the inside of the wheel well. So once you bend that into the inside of the wheel well, we're actually gonna do the exact same process to the next 4 clips. The last step in the process, once all of the clips are tightened down and your fender trim is in place, is to just take a microfiber rag and just wipe it off a little bit, because you do get some pretty good fingerprints all around the polished stainless steel finish. So you just want to make sure it's nice and presentable once you're done, and there really isn't anything blocking that shine. Repeat the exact same process for the other side. Everything's going to be the same for the front, and the rears are going to be the same as well. So if you like the Carrix polished stainless steel fender trim, you can get it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.